Hi, Internet! Okay, let's be honest. My audience is probably some guy named Joe. Hi, Joe. Welcome to the very first episode of History of Comic Book Movies! Episode 1. Superman. That's right, we're talking 1978, the original Superman. This, I think, is first comic book movie. Because I'm choosing to start in 1978, because I was born in 1977.
Or we could start here.
Now let's get one thing straight. This is not an academic history. This is a people's history. More specifically, this is a person's history. Me. I'm going to look at the comic book movies that I've seen and the comic book movies that I like. That's it. That's our criteria. So let's dig in. 1978. The world at large, you know, the non-nerds, the non-geeks. Because once upon a time, there used to be people who read stuff, watched stuff, enjoyed stuff past the age of 12. And they were nerds and geeks. Especially when it came to those funny books, those comic books, those guys running around in underwear and tights. Superman shows up on the silver screen, on the big screen. And this movie, this opening shot, we're going to start there. We're going to talk about the opening shot. Because this lays it all out on Front Street. They are not ashamed that this is a comic book movie. Curtain, black and white. It opens to a comic book with a title, June 1939, Action Comics #1, which is where it all started. It's where Superman first shows up. Arguably, the first superhero. The first modern superhero, to be sure, is Supes. Comic book opens and a little child starts reading. He talks about integrity and truth and standing above everything else. He's talking about the Daily Planet, the place where Superman will later work. But really, he's talking about Superman and who he is as a hero. And then we pan up from the comic book to the Daily Planet, dissolve in, go up into space, boom! Titles, John Williams score. Is there anything better, especially in the late 70s and early 80s, than a John Williams score? The marketing for Superman is fantastic. Now this is before the interwebs, so you learn about a new movie. You see a poster at the theater, you see a trailer at the theater, or your friend tells you about the trailer or the poster. The poster was really simple. Superman logo, red and yellow streak, you'll believe a man can fly. That was a big deal. This is before CGI. Superman flying had not been done convincingly before. He'd had movie serials, he had a TV show, right outside of the cartoon where you can just animate animated Clark Kent becoming animated Superman and it all fits together. Live action Superman flying had not been good.
Let's talk about Chris.
I was looking around online, looking for pictures and a little bit of information for this video. I found this shot of Christopher Reeve as Superman and Clark Kent. Look at how he shot at a slightly different angle so that distinctive chin almost goes away. And the way they light him, and the way Christopher Reeve stands, and the way he acts through that movie, those don't look like the same guy. Superman's disguise has always been more than the glasses. And yes, it's funny, no one knows who he is, he just takes the glasses off. But it's not just the haircut and the costume and the glasses, it's the way Superman holds himself as Clark Kent. And the movie does that through editing and through acting. You believe that these are two different people. Superman is not a perfect film. Not everything works. It makes no sense that if he's fast enough to fly around the world in reverse time, he can't catch 2 missiles in one go-around. So this is Superman. He shows up on the scene and enters the consciousness of the non-nerds. He goes from pop culture to culture. This movie made worldwide gross $30 million. Let me repeat that. Superman In 1978, we're talking 1978 dollars here, made $30 million. Roughly, adjusted for inflation, we're talking 1.14 billion. That's approaching Avengers money. So Deadpool opened like a month ago. Everyone's, oh man, it's great. It's got a comic accurate costume. It's, the source material is right on the money. It's great. In 1978, they say this is a comic book movie. They open up the comic book and a kid reads. Comic accurate costume. No bones about who they are. And this is loyal to the source material. Now granted, Deadpool as a movie is very different than Superman as a movie. Because Superman as a character is very different than Deadpool as a character. This whole idea that we're just now coming into a time where comic book movies have accurate costumes and are faithful to the source material. That all started in 1978 with Superman. Superman lays the groundwork for what it is to be a comic book movie. $30 million in 1978. You don't think people today are still looking at that formula? At what they did there and trying to figure out how do we do that again? All the elements of who Superman is and what a superhero movie is and will be are set up in this film. We'll talk a little bit about that next time. Hope you enjoyed this. We're going to try some more. Comments below, like, subscribe, do all that. Bye, Joe. Hello, Internet. Okay, let's be honest. My audience is probably some guy named Joe. Hi, Joe.